Well, it's what I can observe, right? What's what I can quantify. And if somebody makes an
Well,
extraordinary claim,
well,
I don't have the burden of proof.
yeah.
You know, logically, I don't have the burden of proof to prove that in history we've never had a woman that was never had sexual. I mean, maybe potentially, you know, she's in a hot tub or something, and you know, travels in the hot tub. But you know, without sexual intercourse, it's very rare that a human being is going to be consumed. So when you make that claim that there's a human being consumed because of Sky Fairy and not a Roman soldier, then I'm sorry, sir, that burden is not that's your burden to bear, not mine.
Yeah, yeah. So just so you understand, I agree with you that a person making a claim has a burden. However, the burden of proof has to be comparable to the worldview itself. So if you say, look, I need you to prove something to me, that's fair. I'm not disputing that that's a fair claim for you to make. What I am disputing is what your burden of proof standard is. That's what I need to know. What is it?
It's extraordinary. Extraordinary
How do you know what's true?
Extraordinary claims. Actually, they take some bit of evidence. Like I could say Harry Potter, you know, or the Lord of the Rings. There's some special ring out there, and Goyam's holding it. And if I use the same standard that you use and apply to critically think, we could say it's true because it's in a book, and I have faith that that's true.
I don't.
Yeah.
This doesn't have anything to do with what I'm asking you. I'm asking you,
Sure.
what is your standard for truth?
Sure, it does. But you've been indoctrinated, and you have this some quote unquote faith, so you can't accept.
What is your standard for truth, dude?
I told you something
what
that's
is your standard
or
for
quantifiable. Truth is, you know,
so if you observe something on the TV, it's true, dude.
Listen, sir. This is the thing. This is why you're catty. Like we know deep down.
Answer my question. Answer my question.
There's a macro point being made, and you want to get in the weeds and try to do this catty fucking nonsense.
And we're not getting in the weeds.
You're definitely in the weeds.
We're not getting in the weeds.
You make
I'm literally just trying to. Yeah, what I'm saying to you is that I don't believe that you can ground truth absent some sort of higher power. In this case, I would say God. But I'm willing to hear you out if you can establish truth claims outside of that. I just want to know what your standard is. Because when you ask me, you say, Andrew, provide me evidence for X thing. How the fuck could I do that if I don't even know what your standard for truth is?
Well, you know, you can't do it anyways because you know you're just going to rely on faith.
Are you going to give me your standard? Are you going to give me your standard for truth?
You can't do it. So you're trying to wiggle. That's what I'm saying. You're deflecting, and this is your debate tactic. Let me wiggle out of the way something that I cannot prove. So let me put the burden on him. I don't have the burden, sir. It doesn't matter what the fuck I think truth is.
I'm not putting any burden, bro. I'm not putting any. It doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter what you.
You're absurd, sir.
I see. So it doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter what you think the truth is, but I'm supposed to provide proof for you. Brilliant fucking analysis, dude.
What's your truth based on faith in this, goat herding book 2,000 years ago?
Well, is it my truth? Is my truth the truth?
Listen, you push
is my truth the truth or is your truth the truth?
You come into the manosphere to do a bait and switch to push your fucking religious woo-woo nonsense. And what it is a bait and switch. That's why I said it's
I'm not in the fucking manosphere.
Sure you aren't.
I'm literally not in the manosphere.
Listen, sir. Okay, I'll give you that. Whatever you do, you admitted. Like all you are is a rebranded youth pastor. That's what I look at you. The guy, you'd have a guitar, like I said, 30 years ago, you'd be saying, hey, man, yeah, let's go play some guitar. Hey, did you hear about Jesus? And now what you're doing is you're saying, hey, yeah, man, these feminists. Well, actually, guess what? I'm actually someone, in the court system, going in, got to preach thesis.
Bro, I don't preach, bro. I don't preach.
It's all
I've never preached.
It's all, oh yeah, this comes to my Christian and blah blah my worldview. That's what your worldview is, and it's disastrous.
Yeah, that's called logical. That's logical debating. But if you think you're whipping,
there's no logic in Christianity.
How can you?
You cannot apply logic.
Give me your standard for truth,
and you're going to get murdered.
Give me your standard for truth,
because you don't have a feminist.
Well, whenever
that you can play little games with.
When am I going to get murdered?
Okay,
bro. When am I going to get murdered in the debate? You can't answer a single question.
Yeah,
what is your standard for truth?
You cannot listen. The burden of proof is on you.
How can I fucking dude? How can I prove something to you if I don't know what? Dude, listen. You got to listen.
I don't have to listen.
I can't prove a thing to.
This is the first time you've been around.
This is pointless. This is pointless and moot at this point because the guy just refuses to accept anything.
I
got enough for you, bro.
Yeah. If we're going to go in a circle with Andrew, it's just kind of a waste of his time. I think the audience
Yeah, protect the clout cow from getting slaughtered on this logical fallacy. What's your truth? You got to protect,
bro. You're circular. You're circular.
It's not circular, dude.
So
he knows he can't prove his whole world is predicated
Yo,
on
Blender,
fucking
let me just say, let me just
get fucking blown up. So you have to put the burden on me to say what my truth is. And it's a maniacal fucking wish-washy. Yeah, protect him.
Holy shit, bro. Andrew's been respectful enough to give you some of his time. So there's no other opportunity you would have had to like speak to him. I mean, might as well be respectful. Andrew, the only thing I'll ask, I know you probably got to go, but like there are probably a couple people that want to say some nice things about you, some testimonies. If you would just maybe allow like one or two people to like thank you and stuff, I'll be one of them actually. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's safe to say you've kind of changed my life, and so I appreciate that. Appreciate you also, Marte as well. So I'll let Jaketh go. He's been waiting some time. If Andrew approves, Jaketh and Selena. And Sarkis, you can say your last thing, but you got to land your plane though. But you can say if Andrew allows.
Yeah, I mean that's not a problem. I'll just real quick reiterate this. If you ask me to demonstrate for you proof for a thing, then me asking or requesting what your standard for truth or for proof is would be the opposite of illogical. You say that I keep on putting a burden on you, but I'm not putting a burden on you. I'm not even I'm not even making an argument yet. I'm just asking a question so that we can even talk to each other. That's all.
You're obfuscating the point, and you're going to say it's faith. I already know. I've had these conversations. This isn't my first phony. You're going to say faith, and faith is not good enough for me. The book is not good enough for me. You actually have to have some type of evidence, something that's quantifiable. Like I said, you asked me what my truth is. I said something that's evident and quantifiable. What can you give me that's evident and quantifiable that a woman was conceived without having sexual intercourse? Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So do you understand though that when you say that your theory of truth, which it sounds like it's maybe a correspondence theory, when you say it relies on empiricism or things in which you observe, then what are the standards for the things that you currently believe that you observe in an empirical, which you would claim are true? Can you give me a couple of examples of those?
Yeah, my refrigerator right now, it's making my water cool, and I'm going to go drink a little water from my refrigerator. I can open the door. I was actually born. My father had sex with my mom. I wasn't there. Well, actually, I was there. So I know that's true. I've had sex with women, and a child has came out. I don't know anyone a woman that's actually had a baby without having sex. So if you can give me another example besides this goat herder, children's fantasy, Santa Claus shit, I'm all for it. But you can't, and you can't. So you have to obfuscate.
Well, okay. Well, look, it's at this point, there's nothing more I can do. If you don't understand what I'm asking,
there's nothing you ever could do, and you know that. That's why you're deflecting, because I'm asking you for quantifiable evidence that a woman has ever had a baby without having sex, and you can't do it, and you can't do it. And so this is why you have to.
Yo, Blender, let's drop this. We could address this ourselves, bro. This isn't something Andrew needs to worry about, honestly. But
okay.
Listen, bro. I got love for you. We've had a lot of good, positive talks together, man. So let's approach this in good faith, Blender. You and I. But we could do this in another space or after Andrew leaves. Let's not waste his time for nothing. But this is something I could dissect. Listen, let me finish. You're not letting me finish a single fucking sentence, dude. Like, you can't be like this. You can't be like this. I could dissect your argument like 105 different ways. I could dissect your argument 105 different ways and provide so many different ways of proving you wrong. Yeah, it's not even a problem. I'm not even a fucking apologist, but this is so easy. This is like elementary school level.
And you can't.
I'm not gonna do it now, bro. Like, this is not what the space is about. What's wrong with you? You have such a problem with God, bro, that you can't even you just can't. Like, you can't control yourself right now. That is not a masculine trait at all, dude. Come on, man. Get with the program. Andrew, do your thing, brother. Like, nothing but love, dog. Like, fuck my life.
Yeah, let Jesus
carry on, guys.
Let Jesus take the way.
No, we'll talk, Blender. We'll talk. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about
it. Andrew's agreed to, if you want to say some things to him real quick before he's got to go. Selena, go ahead.
Yes, hi, thank you. I just want to say, I think what Andrew is doing is actually great, and I watched the show and I'm laughing plenty, because what people don't understand is that shaming can be corrective, not cruel, right? And specifically in our Western culture, We need that because, as he said, right, feminists vote and they usually vote for degeneracy. And if you don't correct that, right, the society is going to kind of collapse into moral isotropy, and it is what it is, right? And for us Orthodox people, women have a very special place, and there is some sort of a modesty that is associated with the faith, right? And yeah, I think whatever he's doing is great. I enjoy it. And for you, I don't remember who it was, but whoever the guy, you shouldn't be so triggered because he is calling out the feminist. You should be actually supporting that, because this is what makes your country degenerate, precisely the freedom that they don't deserve. Thank you. That's all.
Jacob, go.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Uh,
briefly touch on Blended's address no, addressing Myron. Myron doesn't advocate for arguing with women. He only does that to demonstrate what he teaches on his day shows to the guys, and it's not for he's not advocating for guys to argue with women. He actually advocates for guys to not argue with women, and I completely love what Andrew does, and Andrew is a great voice for the Christian community, and he's an excellent debater. I was watching his debate with that creature he did on the Whatever podcast, and like it, the way he was able to formulate his arguments is spot on, and the way she wasn't even able.
oh, sorry to mute you, Jacob, but yeah, Andrew's a beast, man. Totally. Zora, you're next.
God bless, brother. Thank you. I actually had a kind of a neutral comment, and thank you because I didn't want to disrespect your space. Thank you for having me up here to the host and co-host, guys. God bless you all. And I was just going to say this whole issue with people calling each other names, it just comes from an area of ill-informed emotions that seem to just destroy a person's rationality and like logic altogether. I've come up with this saying that wisdom can be the cause to pause before you react, and someone who is not acting in wisdom will just lash out in their emotions and not have any correct form or means of getting their communication out. So that's what I keep seeing. I don't know what it is about this man that triggers everybody so much. If you can just separate what he is saying from whatever it is that they're taking as a point of contention, you'll realize he's not being combative. He's acting against what they are throwing towards him. And I just can't see the problem there, guys. But I'll add the one thing coming from a single father who takes care of his disabled mother, going back to school to get my degree in education. Andrew's logic has helped me write my thesis, and it's been probably the best help I've received during my process. So, with that, my dear friends, thank you again for letting me share. God bless you, Andrew and Rachel, everyone. I hope you have a great day.
Awesome, Zora. Thank you. Take one more, and I also want to add that. Well, let's just go ahead. Let's go with Jambala.
Come on, Uncle Tom. It's jambalaya. You know what
Oh,
jambalaya
I can't
is.
see. I can't see the whole. I can't see the whole thing. I did want to
Yeah.
say. Sorry, I did want to say that anybody who didn't get to speak to Andrew about him being net negative, you're more than welcome to stay in the space for a little bit. I'm happy to debate you on how he's a net positive. I don't even think you can get through me in a debate, so it doesn't even matter if you talk to Andrew or not. You got to even try to get through me. So I'm happy. Stick around if you want to.
Yeah, so I just want to
Double mute, I think. Jambalaya, go.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say thanks for teaching me what spurting out is. I didn't know what that meant, and I had to look it up, and I love it every time I hear it. And I watch you guys quite often. Um, and because you do have a biblical worldview, it actually gives you the authority to speak to all of these things because you're not starting with, I isms and me isms. You're appealing to a higher authority, which in this case makes sense. You cannot determine what masculinity is from evolution because we're watching a devolution happening in real time. You have to start with something that created what a man even is to know how to argue what masculinity is. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Great supporter. God bless.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. It's very kind words. It's always very humbling for me to hear them. So I
Hey,
appreciate that.
Rachel, you came up. You grabbed a mic. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for bringing me up. I just wanted to say it's always hilarious to me. You always know who Andrew's dumbest critics are because they're always the people that all they've ever seen is a few of the viral clips from whatever, which I keep trying to explain to people, and I think they know this. They're just rage bait clips. They're always going to be the most shocking, the most outlandish, the most crazy clips, right? None of these people sat down and watched his 2 hour long, formal debate with Ridvan Idemir on, Zionism. They didn't sit down and watch his 2 hour plus long debate with Dave Smith on libertarianism. They didn't watch his, debates with Bosch and Destiny on things like the J6 insurrection or immigration. He's done way more, and all the actual fans know this, that he's done way, way more than just argue with girls on whatever. That's a small, small portion of what he does. It just tends to go viral pretty often. So it's just a total straw man. It's a totally false, fake critique. And all it does is prove that you really don't watch Andrew. You really don't know what he's talking about. And you have no idea what he actually does for a living. You just saw a clip and now you think you know. The only other thing I wanted to say was that Nutty Khalifa chick, she's been super obsessed with me for like 2 years now. Don't know why. Other than the fact that she's obsessed with this Peter guy and she got this idea in her head that he and I know each other. I think I've had 5 DMs with the man, and it was only because of her. When she started peddling this conspiracy theory, I looked him up and found him and was like, do you know this person? She thinks that you're my mentor. It's really bizarre, right? And he was like, oh yeah, she and I used to work together, be friends, and we had a big falling out, and now this is what she does. Um, in regards to some Patreon thing, I went and listened to the space that she alleges this Dean guy says that he could see this public discussion between me and Peter on Patreon. I did not even hear that. And it's like a 4.5 hour long space. I skimmed through it as much as I could, did not even hear the guy say that. If I spoke with Peter on Patreon, I don't remember it. I probably didn't know who he was. And finally, my book was published in 2021 when I certainly had never heard of Peter Wright, didn't know anything. I really didn't know anything about the red pill, the manosphere, none of that, which is great because I got to form my opinions like totally outside of that. I wasn't even in that part of the internet whatsoever. So unless she can prove that in the 2.5 years of research I was doing between 2019 and 2021 that I was like frequently corresponding with this guy or something, it's just silly. I mean, not that anyone cares. Nobody knows who the fuck this nutty Khalifa is. But she's just like mentally deranged. So don't worry about her. That's all I was gonna say.
Don't worry, Natty is our community retard, but he's ours, okay?
Yeah, and we've never called her Nutty. I know I haven't. I've always called her Natty. And why
I'll
didn't we
call her
think of
nutty.
that?
Yeah.
It's definitely Nutty. It's 100%. Good call
She's
on that.
this happens all the time where like people I have no idea what they'll become completely obsessed with me and just like make up whole entire story. It's just wild. But I guess that's the internet's full of crazy people. But
Well,
thanks
not
for letting me
only
up.
not only that, but here's what's funny, right? If I knew anything about this guy and he had good views that I liked, I would just tell you. I would just be like, yeah, I totally agree with this or that or whatever the thing was. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
But
like
I don't even have I don't even have enough understanding of what this guy fucking does to even tell you if I agree with a single view he has.
well in my few DMs with him about her, again, this is like I don't know 6 months or a year ago when she was running around spreading this conspiracy theory. That's the only reason we ever even got in communication was because of her. And I was like, she thinks that I like borrowed something about chivalry from you. And we actually disagree. Me and Peter disagree about the role of chivalry in history and stuff like that. If you read my book and the chapter on it, I actually take an opposite view from his view on chivalry and how it works. And he sent me his essay on it and was like, yeah, we actually totally disagree, but you should read my opinion and see what you think. So she's just literally making up crazy stuff.
All right. Well, that's all I had, guys. I'm gonna go eat some breakfast. Thanks for letting me come in and defend myself in the space. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for showing up, Andrew.
Absolutely. Thanks, Andrew.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys. Take care,
Rachel.
guys. Yep.
Thanks, Rachel.
I just wanted to assert, Rachel, too, that I have read your book, and and I've read Peter Wright's essay on it. You're completely accurate. There's there's a complete differentiation in opinion.
Yeah, thanks again. We're keeping it open a little bit longer. Anybody who thinks Andrew's a net negative, grab a mic. I'll be happy to, take the side of him being a net positive. More than happy
Yeah, I
to.
don't even know why this was required, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I don't think anyone who has a brain can say that he's net negative. Like, we could punk on dude for the jar thing, which I have done, but we're men. But other than
He's
that,
really only a net negative if your worldview is degeneracy, right? Like,
yeah,
that's pretty much what
exactly. There's no approach where you could justify him as a net negative. Like, there's none whatsoever. Whether you like him or not, you just cannot do that.
Well,
It's absurd
you
to me.
might have noticed that the people who had the criticisms, they actually weren't criticizing Andrew. So one guy came up
No.
and was like, I actually hate Christianity and
Yeah,
that's why I hate
exactly.
Andrew.
That
And
was
then
my thing.
and then Natty was like, well, I hate Peter Wright and that's why I hate Andrew. It's always like some
I don't
topic or
think
person.
we could ever take Natty seriously, like wherever
No.
she comes from. Like, honestly, I don't think we could
If they
use her as
would,
an example, Rachel.
nobody I listened to in the space actually attacked any of Andrew's ideas, any of his arguments at all. It was always something adjacent to Andrew I hate the red pills, so I hate Andrew, or I don't like bodybuilding, and that's why Andrew doesn't even do bodybuilding. So it's like they don't actually
Bodybuilding.
ever, they don't address Andrew or Andrew's arguments at all. It's always something adjacent to him that they're associating with him. And it's just, his haters are dumb, honestly. They're just dumb.
That's what makes it comedy, and this is exactly why Nan hosted this space because she loves comedy, and
Yeah,
or
yeah, and I'm
or
gonna
it
actually.
leads to an attack personally or some sort of tone policing or your debate tactics. It's like, who gives a fuck about their debate tactics? If what matters is the content of what they're saying. I don't care how the person
Well,
debates
their
towards me.
tactic
I
is
care about what the
always to
person's
talk
actually
over.
saying to me.
Their tactic is always to talk over, right? So, and that's what happened virtually with everyone. I'm gonna stir the pot a little bit since Rachel stuck around. So Zoe, she may
Actually,
be able
guys,
to
I do
explain it a
have to
little.
get going. I got a
You
doctor
do?
appointment I got
Okay.
to run to. I'm sorry. But thanks for
No,
having
you're good.
me.
You're good. All right.
Take
Thanks
care.
again.
Yeah,
No
have
problem.
have
I
a great
actually
day,
have to go
Rachel.
too, so I'd like to say some last words before I take off. So,
Rachel, can I tell you something before you leave? I agree with you completely. Your husband was right. He was attacked. I've heard him from the very beginning. The stuff that he says is fundamentally true with like the morals and the ethics, right? And I understand that he argues with all these red pill people and he gets associated with them wrongly, obviously. However, the whole debate, people attacked religion, they attacked everything but him, and they didn't even attack any of his points, and they made themselves look like fools. And let Andrew know that I said that.
Okay, will do. Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thank you, Boki. Gabriel.
hey,
Gabriel, what did
can
you
I
want to
say
say?
something before I bounce?
Oh yeah. Sorry, Marte. Yeah, Marte.
Okay, so I just want to make it clear that the reason why Andrew was brought up and why I tagged him in this whole discussion, I'm gonna go ahead and just give you an example. If ever I tag him, I don't abuse this, and it's like I don't actually, to believe it or not, I don't want to bring him up. The reason why I don't want to bring him up is because it's like if I cry wolf all the time and it's for some measly stuff. The only time I'll ever bring him up, and the reason why I originally brought him up, just to make it clear, is because I can defend Andrew to a certain point, but when it comes to things that he might have said in accuracy out of my presence and things that were said in other rooms, I can defend him, but I can't defend absolute claims as far as like, did he say this? I don't know. So we can only defend our friends to a certain point. But when it comes to him defending things that he may have said from third parties and things like that, it's hard for me and somebody else to defend that because it's just hearsay. So I will bring him in, just like I'll bring Uncle Tom in or anybody else in, if they're being talked about behind their back, and I'm like, okay, I want them to defend themselves because I consider myself a good friend to him. If he's going to defend himself, I'm going to say, hey, look, this is being said behind your back, whatever, or this discussion is being said. I don't want to put words in your mouth, this type of thing. I think that if you're a good friend, you would do this. But once again, he's like, I told Uncle Tom this, it's like using a Thanos snap. I only want to do this like a couple times if I have to, if in case of emergency, break glass type of thing. But I'm glad he did show up. I said that he has like 100% show rate if I ever tag him up to this date. But I love talking and defending him and all this other stuff. But when it comes to people putting words in his mouth, I will let him know. And that's the only reason why I brought him up. So that's it.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing him in. I mean, I think it was productive. I mean, all the people that were in here got to see that there were literally only 3 critics, and then those 3 critics were batshit crazy, most of it. So, didn't, another W for Andrew.
I mean, it was the natty person. The nutty person was insufferable. Like we could barely get a word in edgewise for me to even be. Also, the other person that did serve in the military, I wanted to at least say, hey, you know what? I appreciate your service, something like that. So it's funny. One last note before I leave. He was conflating bodybuilding and juicing and all this other stuff. And Andrew's completely right about that. What have bodybuilders done to destroy society or cause any harm? We're almost in the shadow realm. We're obscure from society. We're almost like a shadow sport that's not even rarely on ESPN or anything else. We don't even get recognition. We're barely commercialized or anything like that. But so I think it was definitely fallacious. So I had to defend that and kept redirecting it to me because, like Rachel said, he doesn't do bodybuilding. He was conflating the two and all this. So of course I'm going to defend bodybuilding. I'm a professional athlete in 2 pro sports. So I'm also Andrew's coach and trainer. He's eating probably a breakfast I've prescribed him to eat. But that's the thing, though, is like I think that that's been exposed here. The 3 fallacious arguments that we've heard from the 3 people. It's been highlighted and magnified by Andrew and themselves as well, too.
Does that mean if Andrew gains weight, it's your fault?
Yeah, I have to take the L on that.
Okay, you heard it here. You heard it here.
Also,
honestly, man, I can't. Oh, I was
just
just gonna
remember.
just yeah, go ahead.
Just remember that the pickle jar thing happened. Everybody knows about me after pickle jar, so that's now not my fault because of that too.
Yes. No, I was gonna
Just
just
letting you
say
guys
that.
know. I mean, that's a technicality. I'm going to use
Yeah,
it. So.
yeah. You should. You definitely. I wouldn't blame you for it, personally. But no, I just feel it interesting because most people argue based off their own ignorance. Like they have no concept of what bodybuilding actually is. They don't have the experience of it. They don't know what it takes to be in the gym. They don't know how to. They don't know what it means to actually, like build your body to that level. Whether you're using, you know,
Well, here's the thing.
enhancements or
I'll
not.
offer you
I just
this.
want to say, like, it's still a shit ton of work, is my point, and you cannot,
Right.
you cannot deny that.
I'm gonna expound upon that point that you made, and this rarely gets talked about. Let's say I do a boatload of drugs and a shit ton of things, and I give somebody else that. Do you think we would grow at the same rate because we don't have the same genetics? Probably not, right? Genetics in somebody else may be different to somebody else and somebody else. And also, there's a shit ton of work. To be honest with you, I almost died turning pro, and I turned pro damn near natural because I grew up with a fear of needles. They used to give me these little tetanus shots. What are those little tiny baby needles? Those little TB shots you get, I passed out. And the nurses staff used to make fun of me doing this stuff because I worked for law enforcement at the time. And they were like, no, because we had these mandatory dumbass fucking shots we had to take. I passed out. So before nationals, before I took first in the nation, be out 50 people who won Mr. Chicago, Mr. Washington. I had to beat 50 of the best in the nation, including Mr. White, just to turn pro. The odds of turning pro are like fucking insane. So I almost died turning pro because hypoglycemia. I had like a lung infection, all this other shit, still turned pro. And then after that, I was like, fuck, I might as well start doing something because it's an unequal playing field, even though I turned pro naturally. So I can then say that. So nobody ever knows the background. But if that guy had asked the question and said, "Hey, do you use steroids? Do you do anything like this?" I would have been blatantly honest with them because I have nothing to lose for doing this. In fact, it actually promotes anti-substances. If I tell people I turned pro naturally, it was only after I turned pro. But even then, to your point, I have to fucking eat every 3 hours, 2 hours. I have to train hard as fuck. Like in my skin has to be onion thin to where I'm a human muscle chart when people see me, and that's not a comfortable condition to be. Like this is fucking insane, right? I'm going against my body's natural need to be fucking alive and do all this. My body fat's going so low that you need body fat to cushion organs and joints, right? All that's being fucking scrapped. And now it's like you're living in a state that you would not survive in at like over 2 weeks, right? So yeah, to your point, it is tough. Even if a boatload of steroids do happen to be injected in my body, I would get my ass beat by anybody else who's doing all the natural work. So you're totally right about that.
Exactly, and that's my premise. It's like I don't think people should be arguing based on things they don't know anything about, because like people often pretend that they know something, but they haven't actually experienced it or even been adjacent to it. Like I had a bodybuilder buddy in college that humbled the fucking shit out of me. Like the guy was incredible. The discipline, the the work effort. And a lot of people don't understand. It's not like you just take fucking steroids and PEDs and magically like grow. Like you still gotta put in that fucking effort. This is what people don't understand.
Also, there's also the risk assessment too. You have to understand
Hmm.
though. Like, let's say I did prescribe to a shit ton of drugs, which I don't. The top bodybuilders, the reason why it's assumed that we take a shitload of stuff is because we don't talk to anybody about this shit because it's a class 4 substance, and first of all, it's illegal, and we can't fucking outright do this. If they legalize this shit, then we can have a real legalized fucking dose system to where doctors can look over us and all this other shit. But because they don't do this, it's now a black market sport. Unfortunately, I'm just going to be honest with you all. There's no such thing as a natural pro bodybuilder. It doesn't exist in the IBB or in Super League, the other pro that I turned sport I turned pro in, which is equivalent to strong world strongman. So that's the thing, though, is there's also risks too. If you're going to be Formula One racer, you're going to lighten your tires, you're going to lighten the body, the chassis, everything else, and you're going to increase the speed. What else increases the risk of death, right? Bodybuilding, I hate to tell you, it's not the healthiest sport in the world, but also we're taking big risk too here, right? Dehydrating ourselves to the point to where it's just costs a heart, all this other stuff, right? So it's like they don't understand the sacrifices we're making, even though it's dumb as fuck as it sounds. Even if I didn't do bodybuilding, that I'm doing this and pushing my bodies to extreme, doing all this other stuff. But when I look at kids, I used to manage group homes, and I go in front of them, they're like, wow, a superhero. I get to meet. So kids want to see something that's superhuman. They don't want to see the next door neighbor or what you could see down the park at your football field, stadium, or something like that. They want to see freaks. And to push your body to this status, it's like it takes fucking almost losing your life to the point to where, or going to some extreme. It's fucking hard. Like I can have 1,000 people and not one person turn pro in bodybuilding. It's fucking insane. So it takes a shit ton of fucking work. I would actually tell if anybody in this group chat listen to me, I would say don't do fucking bodybuilding. Do something more fun, baseball, basketball, or something like that. Because bodybuilding is tough as shit. It's harder than all those things put combined, I think, in my opinion.
Well, the funny, I
I
don't
would argue that
understand.
baseball is less fun than that, but there's something I've always you bring up a curious point because people always they always mention like the steroids and all the juicing and oh you're natty and stuff, and like I always wonder like how like is it like legal now? Like because they're always so common now. Like it's
So
like everyone's doing it.
it's not legal. Like let's say if I got a shipment to my door, if I got a shipment to my door, police can pick it up and then they can like do the undercover thing and they can legit take me in and arrest me. It's not legal, but the only way it is legal is like for right now, I'm having TRT. A doctor can say, well, and here's the thing though, I'll be honest with you about my health. If you take testosterone or anything like this, you could say, well, people can say, well, because I have an argument against this too. They could say, well, you're taking illegal substances. It's not natural. Well, what does your body produce? It produces copious amounts of testosterone from like 13 to maybe even 20, right? Your body's legit producing a steroid in your body. You're not putting anything that's foreign. The only thing foreign about it is that it's synthetic. It's a synthetic version of something your body already produces, right? The problem with this is if you start taking testosterone in copious amounts at a young age, your body then becomes dependent on it and stops producing its own, which case it happened to me. Now you see grown adults that are on TRT like myself that have to take it because we've wrecked our own fucking production. So I have an anti-drug approach to this. If anybody starts, they should do it like me and not take anything and fucking win a show naturally before and do all this. So it's not legal per se unless you can get it from a doctor. So
Bro, it's not even that complicated. Like whenever somebody challenges that sport, I just tell them like, hey, try eating 5,000, 6,000 calories a day for a week and let's see how you do. And they usually
that's
crumble,
actually
just
the
like that.
toughest part of the sport
I
is
know.
actually
Yeah.
fixing that, dealing with that
That's
plate.
all. That's it. They can't even handle that, bro. They can't even handle that and they think I'm
And
gonna
Marcus, I
stop it.
actually have a question. So like, as someone who's like, I used to be a bit jacked,
Wait,
but
guys, I'm so sorry, but I need to go to bed. Thank you for coming. You guys can go to Uncle Tom's space. Let me
None
just
is
go to
like
bed.
I'm not it's not exciting anymore. I'm just gonna end the space now.
No, I need to
I'll
go to
just
bed. It's 2 a.m.
I don't know what
forget
Marte
any
did
that
to you,
question.
Nan. I don't know what Marte did to you, but I don't think he deserves it. I'm just
Hey, we'll we'll
Marte,
we'll actually
Marte.
continue this space in the next space some other time because I gotta bounce. So, and I know Nan probably has to go to sleep. So, if you guys have any questions, we can start a space on bodybuilding, and I can be an open book on questions and training and all that other shit. I don't mind. I'm gonna be an open book, raw and real and unfiltered on all this shit. If you guys want to know all the secrets and shit like that in the industry, I'll tell you.